Hey, Bew Heyyy! It's your girl Confessions, and we are here to talk about day 22 of the Diddy trial. First of all, sorry for not being on last night. You know, I was tired. It was a day. But let's get into it before the rest of the testimony for day 23 comes out. A lot happened yesterday. Kanye West was put into this. Kanye West showed up. Kanye West was denied. Jane Doe was refusing to testify at first. She finally got it together. You know, her and Tini kept having a tiff, and she was probably like, look, I ain't having it with this bitch today. But apparently they had got it together by the end of the day after she had testified and she was done. Jane Doe is done, and now it is time for the rest. So let's get into what happened on Jane Doe's last day. Okay, it says, I'm just going to read from my notes because, you know, I'm late. And I'm just give y'all the deets because we ready to get on what today is. So, drama in the courtroom once again. Jane Doe is not being cooperative 100%. She was refusing to testify, but things finally got off. So it was rocky at first, but then it hurried, and then it got through. Jury was shown possibly video or audio of Diddy and Jay and Turks and Caicos. Only jury seen a lot only to the jury that's seen it. A lot of kissing was going on there. It was like, it wasn't a lot, but you hear it, it's like, it was kind of weird. There was a lot of I love yous and I don't want to hurt you. A reporter says male juror's body language was off and he was doing this, rubbing his temple with his finger at one point while the video was going on. He nicknames his crack pipe, aka CP, crack pipe. That's kind of weird. I don't understand what that's about. But you hear him talk about you telling her to set something up. He can't wait to see what the entertainment is for the night. And this is just a regular day for this is how he really gets his kicks. This is fun for him. They were in Turks and Caicos in 23. He tells her to stay. He also talks about telling her to stay in this light and all of this stuff. This is all on the audio that he calling to check up on her after a freak off where she vomited. And he claims that he didn't even know all of that was going on. He was just calling to check up on her. Diddy, you make sure you know everything is going on. You are in control of everything. So, of course, you knew. You were trying to do damage control at this point. And then you can hear there's a lot of laughing. He's laughing, giving kisses, like I said. Rumor is Kanye and Bianca showed up to court. Well, they did show up to court. It's no longer a rumor. But they were denied entry. Like I said, the auto is a checkup call after freak off when she threw up. Then I go back to saying she was not refusing to testify, but she wanted to make sure she was protected. Probably because of this Kanye nonsense. I would not be surprised. Tini tried to flip the script on the whole Jane being a victim whole thing during her redirect. It did not. It was a flop, by the way. Not the jury, but the lawyers and the Judge Aaron, were in a huddle for a couple of times. And Diddy has definitely got the message. Every time there's a huddle now, he like covers his face toward the jury. He's got his face down. Like he's trying to be a good boy. He's trying to be a good boy. He really, really is. At least for that sense. The reason that Jane might have been hesitant to get on the stand yesterday was because of the whole Kanye showing up thing. Possibly. Defense still thinks that Jane should be, the defense still thinks that Jane should no longer be anonymous and they want her name out. But that's because if they get her name out, then they can have Kanye come in and do his whole bid and all that he's trying to do. And you know Ye's been trying to do that for a while. He's been flipping back and forth. But now we see why. That makes sense. We said that at first, but as a joke. But obviously it's true. Because remember, talks about how Diddy taught him how to find a wife, get a wife, keep a wife, all of this stuff. Ye talks about how Diddy taught him some things. You know. So yeah, like I was saying, if the anonymous is lifted, Ye could testify, but the judge shut that down. The judge shut that down as of now, but now we see that Ye is in the courtroom today, so we'll get to that. When the huddle was going on and all this back and forth was going on, Diddy was taken back to the marshal service. Mark Agnifilo wanted to announce that Jane does need to be made unanonymous, and Diddy wasn't there at the time, so Mark wanted to make that announcement in front of Diddy, and it kind of made Diddy happy. He's really into pleasing Diddy, that is for sure, and that's why I said Diddy kept him on, because he is Diddy's yes man. All the other lawyers are crafted greatly and everything, but Mark is too, but he's also a yes man. And he also seems that he's not afraid to get his hands a little bit dirty, a little bit muddy. And like I say, look into that man when all of this is done, because if you are working this closely with Diddy, something is up. Something is up. For Diddy to put you in the back burner, then bring you back to the forefront, what'd you do to be brought back to the forefront? I'm just saying, what did you do? What else went on? Mark Agnifilo, of course, wants the trial to be public. We all do. That's one thing we can agree on. We all do. But I wonder is, how does Jane Doe feel about them wanting to make her public? Because she didn't want to be public. She didn't want to be public. But they want her to be public. So I just don't understand. You bought her lawyer, still don't understand that. You bought her lawyer, paying for her lawyer, still paying for her rent, all of that. Like, I just don't get the connection, and it is really, really, really bugging me. What else? We are 7 minutes in. Maureen Comey has this thing that she does with her shoulders. When she is into it and about to get into her bag, she comes up with her shoulders and everything. So after the whole huddle and everything was over, and the cross-examination was over, and it was time for her to redirect, she came and shut it all down. She was not playing with Teenie. It was like boop, 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 boop. It was a nice little tennis match. But Maureen came and slammed dunked the redirect and got everything on right. She clocked in clearly, seeing what we're trying to. She saw what Tina was trying to do, and she was like, "There is no reason for another anything, because they are still trying to get Kanye to come in and testify. Look, we do not need that. This would be a complete circus if Kanye came in, and he is in the courtroom, so there's going to be a circus today." What else? Jane found, at some point at the end of the relationship, after Cassie had brung out her her indictment and everything, Jane found Diddy to be a disgusting monster when everything went to hell. When Tini was speaking on kick the door down during that night while the doors was being kicked down, she was talking as if they were playing with Play-Doh, making this little laugh and having this little weird upbeat voice, like they were just shooting the shit and everything was fine. It was, from how the reporters were explaining it, it was really weird. How she was just, look, Tini has been off ever since the hidden phone has been found. That's for sure. And she has not been given her best 100 that she usually has in the courtroom. What's tea, Tini? What's tea? She kept trying to make a big deal about the champagne one night that they were all together. Like, she was trying to make it seem like that was the reason for Diddy being the way that he was. And he was just trying to talk to her when he was trying to kick the doors down. It wasn't a big deal. He was just trying to talk to her, see how she was doing, because she was ignoring him, and he wanted to make sure he was safe and he was good, because she threw a glass at him and she pushed his head in the marble, trying to make it seem like she is the one. Like, she's the one. It's quite weird. Yeah, she brought up about pushing Diddy's head into the counter. But let's be clear, that night she took pictures and everything because, like I said, she is a record keeper. There were no marks on Diddy. Her, however, bloody, bruised, just distraught. And you could clearly see that evidence. The evidence shows that night. She tried to make a big deal out about the champagne, woo woo woo, asked about pushing 50's head, woo woo woo. What else? They talk about that they have black candles, and how when she threw the candles at him, all the candle wax went all over his clothes. You know, they don't play that about his wardrobe. He was upset. He was pissed. But black candles, y'all know what black candles is for? If you are not a witchery or a good one, they weren't doing nothing good with them black candles. I don't know what they were trying to do or summon or what, but that's not cool. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. But I need me some black candles now. Yeah, again, I talked about how the way Teeny's trying to make the door kick thing in like a Barney concert. Like it's nothing. We're having a good time and it's normal and it's fun and it's great. You know, the ones that he had to pay her for to get put back on. The same time that he brought money for her to put the money for the doors was the same time that he had KK and the security bringing money for Freak Off to give. Yeah, there's your coercion right there. But let's keep going, shall we? She made a point about the night when she tried to get away from him. Why did you put on a loose dress? Why did you put on leggings? Why is this the problem right now? Why do we care? Why does it care if we've got on leggings or a dress? She's a runner. She's a track star. Whatever she put on, she run it. The point is, she was barefoot. She didn't go looking for some stilettos or some whatever to match it up, right? Like, this whole entire cross-examination was just remedial. There was also a time where she was asked questions, more questions about that night, and she talked a time Jen responded to a question, and she said, she mentions when he choked her up in a chokehold when her feet were off of the ground and she couldn't breathe. And then Teeny wants to say, well, didn't before you testify that you said you almost couldn't breathe? What is your problem, bitch? Right then, I would have been like, bitch, in a minute, you're not going to be able to breathe. Get the hell up off of me like this. She is on one. Like, girl, that's why you messed up. Humble yourself, Teeny. Humble yourself. And then Teeny says, no bruises around your neck and you just left. What do you expect? No bruises around her neck when he choked her up. He had her in the chokehold. That's something different between straight strangulation. You know what I'm saying? He had you in chokehold up above. Like, what do you want? Apparently, you've never been in that situation, Teeny. And then she goes on to talk about how, oh, you left your house. Remember when she said that she left the house when she went running? She left for 2 hours and was hidden in the bushes with no phone, no nothing. You left your house. Why did you leave your house? What was she supposed to do? Where was she supposed to go? That's where all her stuff is. That's her life. That's where her son or daughter lays his head. That is where her child lives. What do you expect for her to do? That is odd to me. I don't know if she's thinking when she's saying this, or she really is just trying and grabbing at straws. Because that's what it seems like. Because none of this is making sense. And that's why Marine went in on her. And that's why Marine was so pissed on the redirect. Because this foolishness of a cross-examination. But Jane don't finish her testimony. And they're saying that afterwards, her and Teeny were okay. I don't know what that means. I'm going to try to figure that out. So that is what happened yesterday. We are still gonna find out what happened with juror number 6 today, because we did not find out anything yesterday. Ye has showed up to the court, and all of this is just happening. So that is just a highlight for day 22. And I'll see y'all later for day 23. And I'll see y'all later because I will be going live tonight with some Ready to Love mess. And you know, Ready to Love starts back tonight. So I will see you cats and kittens for that a little bit later.